Still, they seem to march on with the whole cap and trade global warming thing, despite the latest from Phil Jones. Phil Jones, a leading climate scientist from the alarmist side of the argument. Help, help, we're all going to die in a fiery flood. Right? Central figure of the leaked email scandal known by some who actually read papers that report the truth, ClimateGate. Along with his admissions now in an interview with that right-wing organization, the BBC. This is what he said. The rate of warming in the late 20th century, not unique. What? Really? Yeah, he goes on to say, in fact, yeah, it happened 2 other times in the past 150 years alone. Almost had ya. Between 1860 and 1880. And then again between 1910 and 1940 started to heat up and then went down again. That seemed to work itself out. Oh, by the way, those were both far before anybody had an SUV or there was a significant impact from man-made emissions. Next, this guy admitted uncertainty in the temperature readings only 130 years ago. 130 years ago. There's a lot. I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, how do we check and find out what happened 1,000 years ago? We can't even find out what happened 130 years ago, let alone 1,000. But what about something a little more current? I like current stuff. Al Gore TV is current TV. Yeah. Jones admits that there has been no significant warming since 1995. No statistically significant warming since 1995. Just doing the math in my head, that's 15 years. 15 years, that's weird. Doesn't that go all the way back to when Al Gore was just a dull vice president and not a dull atmospheric scientist / Nobel Prize winning / climate profiteer? Yeah, I think it does. 1995. And Jones also admits there's been a slight global cooling since 2002. While it's also not statistically significant, someone at the head of the alarmist community even thinking the words global cooling is kind of a little victory right here in my heart. Now, how about the famous hockey stick graph? Central idea is, no, nothing significant happened here. 1,000 years, nothing. Very stable for 1,000 years. And then all of a sudden we get an SUV and boom, it's all the way to the top, right? Yeah, this is when you started driving your kids to school. Right here, you hate monger. This was all part of Al Gore's supposed consensus. Phil Jones admits, yeah, no real consensus on this one. Too much debate on whether an event known as the medieval warming period, yeah, was global in nature. I mean, hotter than it is like right now. So, to quote, obviously the late 20th century was not unprecedented. All good. Jones also admits that the temperature readings going back 1,000 years are considerably less certain than recent data. Remember the central chart in Al Gore's movie went back, I guess I said 1,000 years, but it's not actually 1,000 years, isn't it? 600,000 years, so it's 600. Jones also admits to asking a colleague to delete all the emails relating to the IPCC climate report, which is weird. Why would you do that? You're making history. And acknowledging that he has trouble keeping track of information. Where did I put those temperature records used to drive trillions of dollars in policy? Oh, they must be in my other pants. But perhaps most significantly, Phil Jones is admitting now what skeptics have been claiming forever. When asked if scientists believe the debate on climate change is over, he replied, quote, I don't believe the majority of climate scientists think this. This is not my view. No. There's still much that needs to be undertaken to reduce uncertainties. So no consensus among scientists. There's no consensus among. So I think he's saying that the consensus is that there is no consensus. That's great. The warming, not unprecedented. No significant warming since 1995. Is this the head of the global warming alarmist or a right-wing think tank? I'm not sure. After everything else that has happened lately, if this really was about science, and we're really in the debt and the problems that we're in right now, wouldn't everybody say, good, we don't have to spend that money? Wouldn't everybody just stop and say, hey, whoa. Maybe we should reconsider. Wouldn't the trillions of dollars that are on the line with policy decisions all around the world require, well, it did India, come to a full stop? Let's look at what's going on here. We can't trust these people. If this were about science, wouldn't science matter just a little bit?